Delegates, please welcome Howard County Executive Ken Ulman for our first interview this morning with President Weller.
Hey. Sorry. I can't even see the Howard County folks now. Come on. Hey.
Podium's
Sorry.
away.
Sorry.
Ken, I want to thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We're very excited to have you here as one of a number of possible candidates for governor in 2014, and we certainly appreciate your service as county exec in Howard County. So thank you. We have 3 questions that we're going to ask all of our guests. The first one, first, tell us about how you see the future of Maryland and your vision for our state. Can you share with us your unique background, interest, and priorities for Maryland's future?
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Betty, for having me. We're not going to call you Oprah or it's
Betty's fine.
Betty's fine. And first of all, thank you to everyone on staff and the board. Thank you to the great educators of the great state of Maryland. Thank you for being here today. Thank you to my friends in Howard County who I can't see, but I know are there because I can hear you. Listen, I believe strongly we have the greatest state in the United States of America. I am a product of Maryland. I'm a product of you. I'm a product of the great public schools in Maryland. You know, my parents are from Baltimore City, and they were looking for a place to raise a family, and they saw this guy named Jim Rouse building a city at the time in the middle of nowhere in Columbia, Maryland, based on the values of acceptance, diversity, and opportunity for everyone. They moved out there in the early days. I was one of the first babies born at Howard County General Hospital, and I had the opportunity to go to great public schools in Howard County. Phelps Luck Elementary School, Dunlogan Middle School, and Centennial High School. And I'm very proud of that. I went on to the University of Maryland at College Park, where I met my wife, and my wife's a product of the great public schools of Baltimore County, growing up in the Randallstown area. And my kids go to great public schools in Howard County. And again, I just want to say thank you to for the job that each and every one of you do. I see a state that has all the promise in the world, anchored in public education. We're so proud. All of the public servants in Annapolis constantly say we have the best school system in the country, and it's something we're proud of. I'm here to tell you we have the best public school system in the country because of the educators in Maryland. So again, I want to say thank you. We have a great state, but I also want us to be a leader when it comes to innovation at all levels. That's why in the 6 years that I've been county executive, I've really been focused on making sure we are an innovative leader when it comes to healthcare or the environment, making sure we are looking for cost savings for the taxpayers in any way that we can so that we can plug it back into our great school system. And I do want to see us be a leader, an even greater leader when it comes to private sector economic development. We know that we are #1 in the nation when it comes to federal investment, but we are in the 40s when it comes to turning that investment into great private sector jobs. And I think it's something that we all know is important so that we have the revenues to be able to invest in great schools.
Well, thank you. Question number 2. MSEA has never been a single-issue organization. We've had an expansive legislative and social justice agenda, which has overlapped at the state or local or state level with your work as an elected official. Can you share with us an example of an issue you have partnered with MSEA or one of our affiliates on in pursuit of a shared priority?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm really proud, and I've been in office now for 10 years. I did 4 years on the county council and 6 years as county executive. And I should mention in every single election that I've had, I was endorsed by HCEA and MSEA, so thank you very much. Especially since my first election, I won by 36 votes, so I'm fairly sure you were responsible for at least 20 of those. But over the last 6 years, we've had good economic budget times, and we've had challenging economic budget times. And I have a record to stand on where, frankly, we've put our money where our mouth is. We are #1 when it comes to all 24 jurisdictions in the education effort index that the state of Maryland puts together. When you look at your local tax base and how much you ask the citizens of your jurisdiction to pay in to support public services like education, factoring in how much of that we then give to education or allocate to education, we are number one, and we've been number one for all 6 years that I've been county executive. It's something I'm very, very proud of. 64% of my operating budget goes to education, 64%. So when it comes to budgets, I do believe very strongly that budgets are a values document. Budgets speak to your values, and where you put your money speaks to who you are, what your values and what your vision is. And we've had a great record of working together in Howard County to support our schools. I'm not one of those people that just talks about it. We actually do it. And not only that, but we work together and listen to each other when there are issues that come up that we partner on. So thank you.
Last question. Typically, everyone has at least one educator who has made an outsized impact on their life. Who is that educator for you, and how did he or she shape how you think about education and who you are today?
Well, because I went to great public schools in Maryland, I have just way too many great public school educators to choose from. But I will say this. The social studies teachers that I have had throughout my, and by the way, that's not a slight on non-social studies educators, but for me, as somebody who was always, look, my parents raised us to believe that you look at every challenge as an opportunity, you get involved in your community, and you make a difference. The social studies teachers that I had at Dunlogan Middle School and at Centennial High School, Joe Mitchell, Rod McCaslin, Linda Blakesley, all of my social studies teachers in high school, all were very instrumental in who I am as a person. Learning the concepts of representative democracy. At the end of the day, we are our government, and we can complain about it, or we can roll up our sleeves and elect people that share our values and our vision. And frankly, that's what you're doing by being here today. And so when I think about the fact that Joe Mitchell, who I used to go sit with and talk about the values of a community and what makes a difference, the fact that later on, when I was county executive, he actually wrote a book about Columbia and Jim Rouse, and I collaborated with him on that book. In fact, my quote is on the back jacket of that book, talking about what an inspiration he was to me in learning. And then, I don't know how much time I have, but the one thing I also want to add is my oldest daughter, Maddie, just started 6th grade at Clarksville Middle School, and she came back, and one of her first lessons in social studies was a lesson where it is where you take American and it's spelled backwards, and they lay it out as a Native American tribe that does all these things that are so strange. Like they scrape their faces with metal every morning, and they put metal through their body. Exactly, it's called shaving. But you read it and you're thinking, who are these people? And then you realize at the end of the lesson, they're us. And I remember helping Maddie go through it with her homework just about a month ago, and I literally had a flashback to Dunlogan Middle School and Paul Higdon, my 6th grade social studies teacher, and I remembered that lesson. And I remember that lesson teaching us about the values of looking at everyone with respect and understanding. And that's what I've tried to do in my career in public service. And that's what I look forward to continuing to do. And so, again, I would say thank you to everyone in this room for what you do. I know it's not easy. I know you are not compensated to reflect the professionals that you are. Even in Howard County. And we also need to strive and make sure the working conditions are the conditions of professionals. And when you're evaluated in a way that is helpful and productive and fair and gives folks the tools to get better. It's not a system of gotcha. And so I just look forward to being a partner with you over the next 2 years and hopefully beyond.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Ken.
you very much.
We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Safe travels.